Hi everyone, my name is Prab and I am the lead tutor this year at the AATC. In this video, I will be covering our three main tutoring philosophies known as the Big Three, which are fundamental to what we do here at the AATC. There's something we will be looking for within your demo at your job discussions as potential AATC tutors. Take a few moments to think of some qualities you think a good tutor might possess. Keep them in mind and find the links between these qualities and the Big Three. A key word that is central to these qualities and the Big Three is interaction, which is what separates us as tutors from lecturers. Oftentimes, lecturers are in a setting with several students at once, which gives them little to no chance to have direct interaction with their students. Tutors, on the other hand, usually work with a singular tutee or small groups in most situations. This allows for a much more personalized and interactive learning experience for the tutee, allowing their needs to be met with more ease. This personalized and interactive learning experience is fostered by the Big Three, of which the first component is to teach by asking questions. The main reasons we want to do this is to be on the same page as the tutee when it comes to their struggles in a subject, as well as to involve them in the learning process as much as possible to build a more firm and complete understanding of the subject. These two reasons are achieved respectively by using gauging and engaging questions. The first type, gauging questions, are great to discover where a tutee's knowledge level is so that you can meet them there, in addition to discovering any gaps they may have in their understanding. To achieve this, we want to keep our gauging questions specific. The following is an example of both a bad gauging question to ask, followed by a good one, so we can really see the difference. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about implicit differentiation, Jasmine?
Maybe like a 5.
Yeah, see, that's hard because it doesn't tell us enough about the struggles that tutee is having. Instead, a more useful question would be something like, why do we use implicit differentiation, or why do you think it's useful?
I think we use implicit differentiation when we have like two different variables, so it helps us take the derivative of like a multivariable equation, I think.
See what a difference a good gauging question can make? Keep that in mind as we move on to the next part of Teach by Asking Questions. Engaging questions are open-ended questions that allow tutees to think for themselves and provide feedback to show they are understanding the subject material. We have now covered the first component of the Big Three, Teach by Asking Questions. So let's now move on to the second part, which is practice problems. We want to help our tutees learn their subjects, but we don't want to provide them with direct answers, nor do we want to do the work for them. Instead, we should come prepared with some sort of practice problems or scenarios for the tutee to work on in order to learn, or even to apply what they have learned. One of the keys here is that as tutors, we don't want to do the work for them, but instead act as facilitators of learning to help the tutee arrive at the answer using what they know. To do this effectively, we abide by the pens down policy. Essentially, we make sure that tutors keep their pens down and allow the tutee to write and proceed through the problem. Remember, they need the practice, not you, and following the pens down policy, make sure we follow through with that idea. Another key idea related to the practice problems portion of the Big Three is to ensure fairness for all students taking a course, including our tutees. In efforts to implement this, tutors are prohibited from helping tutees on graded assignments. Furthermore, they cannot share old material or anything that is not part of a publicly accessible web page. These guidelines are policies set forth by OSSJA and are instrumental to why we use practice problems, as well as how to properly do so. If you're ever unsure about whether a practice problem qualifies as an OSSJA violation, be sure to ask. We've covered two components of the big three: teach by asking questions and practice problems, and can move on to the third and final component, positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is something we want to include in every tutoring session, whether a tutee is correct or incorrect. The reasoning behind this is that providing positive reinforcement to tutees helps them build confidence in the subject, and taking a test with confidence versus without it makes a world of difference. We want to provide positive reinforcement no matter if the tutee is right or wrong, but the way we do it will certainly differ. When tutees are correct, we like to notice their achievement and congratulate them on it, so saying things such as good job or nice work are a good start. However, we can provide even better reinforcement by being specific about what they did well when applicable. For example, when a tutee has forgotten the plus C when solving indefinite integrals a few times, and they correct it on their next go, tell them how you like that they remembered that step. You can even go so far as to relate, as I do when I let them know I used to forget the plus C too when I first took integral calculus. When a tutee is wrong, we still like to encourage them whenever possible, usually by still letting them know they did a good job and providing specific feedback on what they did well, just like in the case when they are correct. The difference is that along with this feedback on what they did well, you want to help guide them in finding what they did wrong so they can try to correct it. Here at the AATC, we have a particular method of providing positive reinforcement to a tutee when they are wrong that incorporates those two statements, followed by another positive comment. This method is known as a compliment sandwich, as it is done by starting with positive feedback, followed by a critique, and then finished off with some more positive feedback. Another tip to stay neutral within critiques, or even throughout a tutoring session in general, is to stray away from using words like simple, easy, basic, etc. to describe a topic or problem, because a struggling tutee may find it discouraging if they think that topic or problem is difficult. Remember, the tutee is putting themselves in a vulnerable position when they come to tutoring, so we want to make sure we are creating a comfortable environment for them to ask any and all questions and receive the help they need. To recap, our big three fundamental tutoring philosophies at the AATC are to teach by asking questions with gauging and engaging questions, provide practice problems whilst adhering to the pens down and OSSJA policies, and giving positive reinforcement, both when the tutee is correct and incorrect. Strategies help us form an interactive tutoring environment that promotes active learning. We would love to see you implement these strategies in your job discussion. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you there. Good luck.